Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a big show lined up. Got a lot of really cool pictures of some really big snapper. Got a special guest here. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're going to have a high of 87, a low of 73, and a water temperature bumped up 1 more degrees. It's at 83 degrees. Now, let's take a look at the river reading. A lot of y'all have been asking about that. The river is going down. We've been worried about not getting getting close to flood stage, but it is going down. This is Wednesday morning. We're reading right now 4.7. It looks like it's going to be in great shape for the weekend. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville is dropping strong also, but it's got a lot more water in it. It's at 8 foot this morning. It's dropping on down maybe around 6 by Friday afternoon. So good situation there. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent, Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Their motto is when carrying counts. And we're looking at today is June the 3rd on a Wednesday. Great tides, big strong tides. We're over 2.2 foot. We're looking at a high tide this morning at 9:52 and a high tide this evening at 8:42. Like I said on the show the other day, these high morning tides are excellent for fishing these flats. These captains and recreation fishermen are going to be hitting these flats pretty strong this week, I can promise you. And just watch out for the weather. Marine forecast will be west-southwest at about 10 to 12. I want to pause a moment and congratulate all of the graduates throughout the Panhandle. A lot of folks have already graduated. Some graduate tonight, the rest of this week, and also throughout the Panhandle, a lot of good young folks graduating, and I know a lot of proud parents. A lot of I got a kick the other night at Moses' graduation. I always stay around and shake hands and hug and all that kind of stuff. And I saw some moms with some tears in their eyes, so that goes with the territory. So congratulations on all those graduates. All right, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back and welcome Captain Rick Corley.
Good morning, sir.
Always glad to have Rick on, have all kind of neat things. And we were talking before the show. First of all, people don't realize how much you travel. What's your schedule the next couple of days and traveling and all?
Well, today I'll be in Fort Walton doing a boat. Tomorrow I will be in Niceville doing a boat. And Thursday I'll be in Bainbridge doing a boat.
You'll be on the road?
Yep. I put about 100,000 miles on that little Honda Fit of mine in 7 years.
All right. All right, you brought a book. This is a fascinating book. I was thumbing through and looking at the pictures and all. And tell us about this book you brought right here.
Yeah, a friend of mine for years that I got acquainted with, he went to work for the state at a young age, and he stayed. And he ran the aquaculture barge where they seed these oyster beds in Pensacola and Panama City and Apalachicola. David Cole wrote a book called At the End of My Maritime Tow Line. And it's a narrative about his life and what he done and what he saw and all and how things worked. And he sent me a copy of it. I've read through it. It's a good read. It's not difficult read, but it is interesting if you know the area, it's kind of like your book. If you know the people, it's fascinating because I knew a lot of people in your book. Well, I knew the situation in this book here. In a lot of cases, I did a lot of survey work for the state of Florida during his tenure, and surveyed the tug that he ran, surveyed the barge that they had built, and so on.
And Captain Cole lives down in Apalachicola?
Yeah, he's retired, lives in Apalachicola, and of course, had he wanted to, he could. He wanted to stay with his family, so he stayed with the state. He made about a third of the money that he would have made had he went on the river on big tows.
Yeah.
And he had that ability. He was a good boatman, a very good boatman. But the thing is, he was also a very conscientious state employee, which fascinated me, because a lot of people, they look at it as just a job, and they can't fire me, and I don't have really any accountability. That's the way a lot of them look at it. But he didn't. He looked at it as, I'm responsible for trying to spend the taxpayers' money in a prudent manner. And he took it to heart. and I admire him for that. He was an honest person, and I like that. And he surprised me. I mean, I misjudged once in a while, and I misjudged him to start with. I didn't realize he would be that good a writer, but he is. He's an excellent writer. I figured it would be an okay read, but it's an excellent read.
You know, I think when you write from the heart and write on something you love, writing becomes a lot easier. And this looks like what he did. He won a lot of awards and all.
Yes, he did.
And
yes, he did.
I was fascinated looking at the barge and, on putting these oyster shells out. And they showed you just drive up there a dump truck onto the barge.
Pull the dump truck on there and dump them out. And then they take a high pressure pump and wash them off to the barge into the water. You can see there's where they're doing it. I don't know, would that show good?
I can see it. Let's see.
There it is. There's
okay. This little technique, and it makes it, I thought what a good common sense thing to do. Jesse, I don't know if we can get our top picture or not, if I can get it still there. But a lot of times it's just trying to get, you see right there how they wash those oyster shells out there and just bring the water up there with high pressure, and that saves a lot of manpower.
Yep. And it just blows it off into the bay. And, of course, that's to reseed the bed. The other oysters will attach to those shells.
So he did it all throughout the Panhandle, all the different bay systems?
Yep. He primarily worked out of Apalachicola. And, of course, that was their big one because that's the oyster capital of the world as far as I'm concerned. But they also did, I think, some seeding in the bays here as well as in Pensacola.
That's it. It's going to be an interesting read. I'm not sure where you can get it. I'm sure you probably get it on Amazon.
I think Amazon.com, and there's probably some bookstores in Apalachicola. But
I'm sure the little bookstore right there downtown Apalachicola, they carry my book. And if you've never been to a real bookstore now, that's it. It's not much bigger than this room right here, but what a great selection of books, especially local books they have up there. So what do you think about?
Yeah, it was copyrighted first edition 2014. And it's got an ISBN number, so it's called At the End of My Maritime Tow Line, a narrative of my towing career, Captain David L. Cole. He was master inland towing vessels in western rivers. Nice guy, had a good career, and now I think he's enjoying being retired, and he's writing a few books and doing a good job.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. Come back with those pictures of a big snapper. All right, welcome back. We're Captain Rick Corley, and this little segment here. Let's go to some pictures because snapper season looked like it opened this past weekend to the previous weekend. Because that previous weekend we didn't get very many, but this past weekend they started coming in. I'm talking about some nice snappers. So let's start with this one here. Start with a young lady. This must have been an all-girls trip because the pictures they sent in. This is Kristen Yawn. The pictures they sent in got all girls in it. Kristen Yawn there with a nice snapper, and then look at the girls they're out with. And look, they had a nice fishing trip. Rick, that's some good fish right there, buddy.
Yep.
Nice fish. All right, let's move on down. This is the trip of Andy Cobb. They're not in it, thank goodness. All those ugly boys, we just got to fish. Andy Cobb, Kyle Register, John Corlett, David Carr. Had a good trip right there off the tailgate of the truck. Now another trip. Oh yeah, also, I don't know if you noticed, this is one that the shark got on the same trip. Okay, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Not more. Okay. This was not a fishing trip. This is my weekend. I was down in Jacksonville. Didn't get to go fishing this weekend. I had a great time. That's the Reverend Franklin Graham, and that was Saturday night at the Memorial Arena. That was 400 young people committing their lives to Christ. Just spent a weekend down with my cousin and his family. Just had a wonderful time. Now, you want to see some big red snapper? Check this out here. This is that's Tim Sutherland on the left, and it's son Blake. Now they've been on the show before. I've always shown pictures of them every year, and that on the left is a 30.4 pound red snapper, and that one that Blake is holding on the right is a 27.6 pound red snapper. I saw Blake last night, and was talking about it. He said that there was about 140 foot of water. And it took them, they thought they had a big old shark on there until they got it right there to the water. And they were fishing. You notice now they're fishing at night, and but that's two fine snappers. One of them amazing, but have both of them like that.
Yeah.
Good job there. Okay, how about Tom Martin? Tom, a good fisherman.
That's a good eating size.
That is a great snapper right there. Excellent eating. Good job, Captain Tom Martin. All right. Let's go to the inshore. He's got his face here, but if you look close, that's Daniel Raphael. Yep, that's from. He comes in once a month with the Bill Kramer. I call him one of the Bill Kramer boys. I email him back or text him back. If he keeps catching fish like that, he'd have to do him a fishing show. Yeah. But he was out fishing with his dad the other day. So good job there, Daniel. All right, this is Jennifer Leonard Nicewander. Good job, Jennifer. Her husband Steve. Yeah. They went out. They didn't go very far out. Caught that one. Good job, Jennifer. School teacher there. Now, Rick, I'm going to let you comment on this. This is Panama City before the beach, before, it's called PCBC. Panama City before condos.
That's correct.
So we're standing, I believe, this old Space Needle they took it from, looking west. And tell us about it. Well,
that's the old county pier there on the left that you see going out into the Gulf. On the right, you'll see an old mountain. It looks like the volcano. That was at what is now called Shipwreck Island area. And just beyond it, on the same side of the road, is the old Goofy Golf. That's where we're talking about. We're at. It's just beyond Edgewater Beach area, Edgewater Beach Resort, and the Holiday Inn would have been right behind this photo.
This is classic, and this would have been a great example if we'd had a regulation in like some places do about building behind the highway. What a beautiful beach area everybody would have shared, and you still would have had, you still had a
lot of people don't know it, but my father in 1959 or 60, somewhere along in that time, he was the president of the Thomas Drive Beaches Men's Association, and they got the Panama City Beaches Men's Association together, and he tried to convince them to do that, and they didn't. There were 4 things they wanted to do. And they did 2 of them. One was get Grand Lagoon dredged and on the Corps Engineers maintenance list. The other was get a volunteer fire department going on Thomas Drive. And then the other was, he said, we need to make sure that you don't build south of the closest road to the beach, and then only 1 story and then 3 story and on up, so that 9 blocks in would be your high rises, and it would make a wind barrier. They didn't do it. But I tell you who listened to the conversation and did do it. That was Chuck Guilford when he was mayor of Mexico Beach. From Toucans to the county line, you can't build south of the road. And he saw, and they got a beautiful beach.
And you could have still had those. You still had condos out there, and all not anti-condo. You could have condos just build that walkway,
right?
And people still have beachfront. It's their condo.
And he wanted to buy the corner lot every 3rd block to turn into a small parking lot with access to the beach, where people see. That's the thing. You can go to the beach, but where are you going to park? There's no place to park. So you've only got 2 places for general public to go. That's either the Rick Seltzer Park or a state park. Or go to Mexico Beach.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's look at one final picture here. This is a man on the right, Amanda Poston Walker, and now what I like about this one, I taught Amanda's dad a long time ago, and that's her husband on our left. That's Mike Walker, and that's a nice red snapper too. Husband wife team going out there and catching some big old red snappers. So you can see the red snapper fishing was outstanding this past weekend and on into the week. Some folks have off on Mondays and all. So some great pictures. Appreciate y'all sending them in, and it looks like this weekend is going to be the same way. So we're going to probably get some more pictures on that too.
One other thing, it's now hurricane season.
Yes, we need to talk about that too. But one of the big things is, we're talking about, and we're overdue. Here, especially here in this area here, we haven't really had a big one in a long time.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. So why don't we go ahead? I tell you what, we're going to take a break, and I've got some more things to tell you too. We've got a hunter safety course coming up. We'll go and take the break now, and then come back and talk about getting prepared in this hunter safety course also. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. On the first day, a good morning to Harold and Linda Petty down at Howard Creek, and also Bill and Jeannie Major down at Howard Creek. Watch the show every morning. Appreciate that viewership down there, and we'll be hoping to get down there and do some fishing with some of you folks pretty soon. I know the yellow flies is going to be starting, so we're going to talk about yellow flies later because that's just a plague on mankind, those yellow flies, along
They
with
hurt.
no-see-ums and mosquitoes and all. So let's take a look at the fish and game forecast for today. We're looking at our times. It's brought to us by Mark Howard, Edgewater Beach Realty, and we're looking at the time this morning from 1:13 to 3:13. We just passed that, but then this evening we're looking at after lunch from 1:41 to 3:41. So that's our times right there. If you get a chance to go out there, those be a lot of good things happening. Now, we're talking about hurricane season starts always on June the 1st, and of course, June and July always seems to be the slow months. And
our strong months are usually going to be September and October.
September and October, and historically that's proven. I know Hurricane Opal hit in '95 on October the 5th. I remember that well because we were hit hard by that,
and we were lucky.
We were lucky, and think about that. And people, a lot of folks are watching the show now. They were not here then, but we have a bayfront home, and and I've been around all my life, and I thought we were prepared, but we were not prepared.
Nope.
You do not realize the force of nature until you really experience it firsthand. I don't think.
And a lot of these people are almost there and write it out. Your life is not worth all your possessions.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially if you're close to water. So we're talking about getting a house and already, but just your boats and all. You want to. We had this little plan where you'd move your trucks and cars and all different places, and you got to remember where the wind's coming from. You want to try to get on the backside of the wind if you're parking your cars and all.
Right.
What about your boats?
Well, if you can, I'd take them to one of the haul-out facilities: Miller Marine, Lighthouse, Treasure Island, Pirates Cove. Those type places that's got. If nothing else, the storage buildings, they weather pretty good most of the time.
They really do.
But if you can get the boat out of the water, it's better. If not, then find you a place, a good hidey hole, as they call it. One is up in Fannin Bayou, and another one is over in the creek over here. I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, you talking about over by Tyndall, or?
Yeah, beyond Tyndall. I'm talking about over where you go in.
Up in Sandy Creek?
Yeah, Sandy Creek. Or on over to the creek right there by Overstreet. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the other is to get into the ditch sometime, and where the high walls are, because you're under the wind there. But you want to be, there's a lot to tying up in that type. It's an experienced person ought to do that knows what he's doing. The average boater, the best thing you do is get your boat out of the water, and if you got a trailable boat, take it inland. Get away from the water at least 40 miles. So I'd go up there around Bristol or someplace like that. They're high, and
get out of the wind. There's wind blowing this way.
Within 2 blocks of the water is where 90-something% of the damage is going to happen due to storm surge, more so than wind, and that's always been the case in hurricanes. But a lot of your insurance companies now are covering some of the cost of, preparing and hauling out ahead of time. A lot of these shipyards and mariners have hurricane plans, and that's a good way to do it, because they said, well, I'm going to go tie. I said, yeah, but you don't know what your neighbor's going to do, and he can get blown into you or that type thing. So. You're better off if you haul out.
A great point, Case, and again, I bring up personal experience. Our dock was actually blown into my neighbor's, or two lots down, into his living room. It wasn't anybody's fault. But that's what's going to happen. So you got to look on the wind side. What's coming towards you? Just look out there. It's southeast of you, or southwest of where you are now. And a storm hits, chances are all that stuff's going to be in your house.
Yeah, well, you got to remember it rotates counterclockwise. If it goes in east of us, you're going to be on the back side, and you're probably not going to get as much damage as if it goes in west of us and you're on that front side.
Oh yeah.
You've got not only the wind that's in the counter rotation, but you got the forward movement added to that.
Yeah.
And for example, if you got a 100 mile an hour hurricane on the right-hand side, or the side that's moving forward, and let's say it's doing 10 mile an hour, you got 110 mile an hour winds. On the other side, you got 90 mile an hour winds. It's 20 mile an hour difference. Well, wind speed, it squares itself, the force. As it goes up, it's not, if you double the speed, you don't double the force, you quadruple it.
Yeah. And we're talking mainly here on people around the water and all, but the folks inland still have a huge danger of these big trees being blown down, especially big oak trees. Their root system is not that strong as they get older. Those oak trees could do a lot of damage. Those pine trees will snap off. You always have these spin-off tornadoes. Always. You're going to have these spin-off tornadoes.
Yeah, when I first started surveying in August of '69, they had 37 tornadoes in Camille.
37, yeah.
37.
Yep.
We were able to go to the Keesler Air Force Base and they recorded the radar, and we documented there was 37 known tornadoes in that.
I always think of the term hunker down, and that's why everybody sort of has a hunker down. And even I remember on a couple, I don't remember specifically which one, a lot of folks are just, when the storm was coming, a lot of folks get hit the highway, and they had all kind of traffic jams and all, because they all hit at the same time.
Well, yeah, they wait to the last minute. And it's like when Opal was coming, I told Babs, I said, I'm going to wait and get up in the morning and check it at about 5:30. Well, I got up at 5:30, and it was, at the time, they were estimating it was going to get here somewhere late afternoon. Well, it had picked up speed because there were 2 cold fronts coming down. And it was a Category 5, and it was estimated that it was going to get here at like 9 something. I said, let's go right now. We had everything loaded and ready, so we just jumped in the cars and took off. And we went to Graceville to the National Guard.
That was smart.
And we beat the crowd out by about a half hour we were ahead of. And they did. They had a lot of people that had a lot of trouble getting on up because of that, because all of a sudden it was like everybody panicked and realized, oh, this thing's coming early.
I don't have time now to get into it, but I want to maybe I'll get my son to come in with me do the Opal story personally on what happened in our situation, because, like I say, it caught everybody off guard.
Yes.
People like you and I who know or have been here and know what's going on. But anyway, just be prepared.
Absolutely.
Be prepared. I know if you have any questions on how to anchor your boat and all, give Rick a call. He'll tell you how to do it, and be glad to. Rick, I get there, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, and drive safely. All that traveling.
Oh yeah.
All right, Captain Rick Cordy coming on once a month with us, a great sponsor here. We appreciate Rick, and if you have any questions on boats, always ask him. Got to sign off for today. Listen, you do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.